Hello drama lovers, welcome back to this channel. That night wasn't like any other. There was a silence that felt different. Not because the room was quiet, not because the cheers had stopped, but because every eye was fixed on two figures who had long been a part of the hearts of drama fans. Kai and Tan Songyun. Two names that, for years, have built story after story, tales that never really ended on screen. And that night, the world finally acknowledged what fans had only dared whisper all along. They were crowned the greatest actor couple of all time. There was no excessive cheering when their names were announced. Only the sound of the microphone echoing, the spotlight slowly turning to them, and their calm steps toward the stage. Steps that appeared steady, yet carried a trembling emotion that words couldn't quite describe. Kai glanced at Tan Songyun briefly, and in that fleeting second, he smiled faintly. No words, no flashy gestures, just a presence that felt strong. And as they stood on the stage, side by side under the now brilliant lights, time seemed to pause. Tan Songyun held the microphone with both hands. She tried to smile, but her eyes welled up with tears. She took a deep breath, and her soft voice filled the room. I never thought we'd get to this point. When we first worked together, I just hoped that people would feel our efforts. But it turns out, you saw so much more than that. Kai stood beside her, looking straight ahead. He didn't interrupt, didn't speak, just listened. And when it was his turn to speak, his voice was barely audible. This award isn't about who's the most popular or who gets the most views. It's about you. About how you continued to believe in us, even when we started doubting ourselves. The gala transformed. It was no longer filled with cheers, but silence. A deep, stirring silence that made everyone in the room simply watch without saying a word. Some audience members looked down, wiping their tears. Not because they were sad, but because they understood this moment meant something. Kai and Tan Songyun's win didn't come overnight. It was built over time. Through project after project they worked on together, through the characters they brought to life, through the stories they carried to the screen, and eventually, into the hearts of millions. Some say their chemistry is too perfect to be just acting. Others believe they understand each other more than just as colleagues. And that night, when Kai held Tan Songyun's hand as they stepped off the stage, all the theories that had long been treated as fantasies suddenly felt a little more real. In the past few years, they haven't exactly been new names in the drama world. But somehow, every time they starred together, something different emerged. Not just an ordinary love story, not just a romance with a predictable ending, but a connection that felt honest, intimate, and sometimes painful because it was so real. They didn't just play characters. They became them. On screen, Kai is the quiet man hiding his wounds. Tan Songyun is the cheerful woman masking her sorrow. But behind the scenes, neither of them ever seemed far from their roles. Behind their smiles at press conferences, behind their jokes during filming, there were always glances that said more. Glances that couldn't lie. That's what fans saw. And that's why, when they were finally given the title of Greatest Actor Couple of All Time, no one felt surprised. There was only emotion. Gratitude. The sense that justice had finally been served for two people who had given so much and asked for nothing in return. On social media, hashtags about them flooded timelines. Finally, Kai Tan wins, one fan wrote. They used to doubt them, look who's standing tallest now, wrote another. Their fan base, who had always remained loyal, celebrated this victory as if it were their own. Because for them, Kai and Tan Songyun aren't just actors. They are symbols of hope. Proof that hard work, sincerity, and effortless connection will always find a way to be recognized. Yet beneath the euphoria, there was also a quiet fear. Because this win also marked something that not everyone was ready to face. Could this be the peak of everything? Or just the beginning of something even greater? Would they appear together in another project soon? Or would they take some distance for a while? Kai said briefly in a post-show interview, "Sometimes, something beautiful doesn't need to be forced. Let it grow, and we'll know when it's time to return." That statement left many fans holding their breath. Was it a sign of parting? Or simply a pause to make the next reunion more meaningful? No one knew. But one thing was certain. That night, they had made history. They didn't just win an award. They won hearts. And in a world that forgets so quickly, winning hearts is a far more lasting achievement. Someone once wrote on a fan forum, "If I could choose, I'd want to see Kai and Tan Songyun in another drama, even if just for one episode." Because when they are together, the world feels a little more peaceful. And perhaps, that's their greatest strength. The ability to make this harsh world feel a little softer. To let someone who's hurting feel a friend on the screen. To let tears feel valid, because there are two people on that screen who understand them. When the event ended, Kai and Tan Songyun didn't linger long on stage. They simply bowed, said thank you, and walked slowly to the back. But their steps were clearly remembered. Unhurried, but certain. Not pretending, but sincere. That night, they left the stage. But not the hearts of the audience. Because no matter how far they walk, Kai and Tan Songyun have left a mark that will never fade. On the screen. In the hearts of fans. And now, in entertainment history, as the greatest actor couple of all time. So now, drama lovers, the question is this the end of their story? Or the beginning of a deeper chapter? Will we see them share the screen again? Or should we treasure this as the pinnacle of a tale that has already reached its most perfect moment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because who knows, the next moment from Kai and Tan Songyun could be even more surprising than this historic night. See you in the next story.